Are you comfortable if this is it? You feel like you fulfilled that dream?
Lindsay, welcome to the podcast.
I'm so excited to be here. Growing up a dancer, the only show I wanted to watch was Dancing with the Stars. That was my goal. Auditioning for So You Think You Can Dance, making it on that show, and then going straight from that to Dancing with the Stars. It was insane.
You made it at 19.
For the first couple of years of my career on Dancing with the Stars, there was always that thought of like, this could be taken away from me at any moment.
A lot of times we think that control is what's going to ultimately give us happiness because we're like, if I control the narrative, where I'm going, obviously I'm going to be happy.
Gonna be fine, yeah.
But I think we stand in our own way.
TV's hard. It's very subjective.
What made you want to take a step back from Dancing with the Stars?
We always knew that we wanted to have kids. The right decision can still be excruciatingly hard. Whether that was Dancing with the Stars, motherhood, going into my movement club career, like all of it started with a decision that felt so terrifying. And those have been the decisions that have been the most impactful in my life.
I think the moment I allowed my dream the space to kind of take on new shapes was the moment that I became like more fulfilled.
This is where like the birth of the movement club began.
Getting pregnant is not just scary because you're entering a new identity. It's scary for a lot of women because your body is changing.
Women are incredible because the roller coaster that our bodies go through to bring life into this world is actually insane. I mean, I hate that there's this like rebuild, get back at it, because your body will never be the same. But I've learned to like embrace that and love that. It wasn't until 20 weeks pregnant that I actually started filming my first video.
Wow.
The whole time was just like, who is going to want to do this program? Yep, Lindsay's my personal trainer, the girl who's losing her abs, gaining weight. The whole mentality behind this program is like, show up as you are. Doesn't matter what phase of life you're in. If you would have told me the movement club would be where it is today, I don't know if I would have believed you.
You're listening to How I See It, hosted by Han. You guessed it, that's me. I am here to motivate and inspire you with guests from all different industries and backgrounds. So get ready for personal stories of success, of growth, full of highs and lows, and of course, unapologetic realness. This is How I See It. You guys, I am so excited because Lindsay Arnold is here today, and you may have seen her on Dancing with the Stars. She was a pro for 11 years, or you may know her from her content online, or you may know her as the founder of the Movement Club, an online movement platform that she created for everyone. But if you don't, you will know her after today. Lindsay, welcome to the podcast.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Like, this is going to be so fun.
Well, our
like, we
talk
could just
on
hang.
the phone was like even already, I'm like, we should have been recording already.
I know. I love that. But we'll go even deeper. It's going to be great.
One of the things I've seen from following you and then also having that conversation with you is that like you're very multi-dimensional. Like you have lived many different lives already in your life.
It does feel like that when I look back. I'm like, oh my gosh, who was that person from 10 years ago? Like, we're so different now.
Yeah, and I just think you've done so many different things and you've pursued so many different parts of yourself. And something you said on the call that I just thought was so profound was that to be happy, you have to be able to evolve.
Yes.
And I thought that was like really, really powerful because I think it's something that people really struggle with. So I'd love for you to like get a little deeper on that. Is that something that you have always felt, or do you think that's something that you realized through your journey over the last few years?
I think a little bit of both. I think I slowly discovered that and didn't even realize I was discovering that throughout my childhood as a dancer. I think my background and growing up as a dancer and constantly evolving in ways that maybe like don't seem like evolving, for example, like learning new styles, having a new dance team every single year, having a new dance teacher, going to different competitions, learning like new pieces of choreography, like constantly having my brain understand that like, okay, you've learned it one way, now we've got to switch and we've got to go another way, or learning new techniques from different teachers. So I feel like it started small, but then going into my career on Dancing with the Stars, being paired with a new celebrity partner every single season, there was no choice but to evolve. Not everybody is the same, obviously. So the way I had to teach the celebrities, the choreography that I put together for them, even just the way that I talk to them, encourage them, like everyone responds differently. So learning quickly that I had to evolve was the only way to be successful in my job.
Well, you kind of have to like roll with the punches, like even from a young age, like especially when you're competing like that and doing those types of things. Like dancers are like athletes, and if you're an athlete, you have to kind of roll with the punches of where you're gonna go.
And I think also like evolving in the sense of like pursuing and pushing through even when things aren't going the way you want. Like as a young competitor, learning that like okay, I could train really, really hard and still not win the competition. That doesn't mean that I just don't do that anymore. Like sometimes my motivation was because I just purely loved dancing and loved showing up. Sometimes the motivation was because I wanted to win. And then that made it harder when I didn't. And I had to evolve and find that new like reason for pushing. And then going into motherhood, I mean, I don't think anything can prepare you for the amount of evolving that you do on the minute by minute when it comes to motherhood.
Oh my gosh. I mean, well, before I even have you get into all of that, I think like what you're speaking to is really powerful. So I want to kind of hang on it for a second. I do think that people have this idea in their head, and I don't think it's tested until like you kind of are put to the test, but I think like they've chosen what it looks like to make it.
Yep.
And like what their dream is and what their deepest desire is. And they view it as like, well, I'm not going to be happy until I've made it. Yeah. And I think the scary part in doing that is like, you're making it moment changes. Yeah. So the target continues to move. And so I think it leaves people very unhappy and confused when the things they thought were going to bring them joy don't.
Oh, 100%.
When you're a dancer and like you decide that you want to do that and it happens so young, I can imagine that like, I don't know, you made it at 19.
Yeah. It is pretty crazy looking back at my career. And this is where it's like funny because I feel like I've lived so many lives, like you said. It's all the same me, but it's really cool to look back on these different phases that were just like building blocks to something bigger that I didn't even realize. Because like you said, growing up a dancer, I mean, the only show I wanted to watch that I was passionate about was Dancing with the Stars, or So You Think You Can Dance. That's not on anymore, but that was another one.
I loved both of them. I watched Dancing with the Stars like every season. I told you on the phone, like I was obsessed with Mario Lopez season and like I watched it all the time with my family.
Yeah, it's a great show. And as a dancer, when you were like, this is what I do, that was my goal. That was my dream. That was the only thing I wanted to do. And to be completely honest, I really didn't think it was the thing that I could actually do. Like I was like, every dancer, of course, wants to be in the show. So didn't really grasp that it was actually a possibility for me. But then going out of high school, auditioning for So You Think You Can Dance, making it on that show, and then going straight from that to Dancing with the Stars and being on my first season, I just barely turned 19.
That's insane.
It was insane. This is what's funny is I kind of had a whole different plan for myself. I think a lot of people think that I was like, no matter what, I'm dancing. That wasn't me. I'm very much someone who likes to have a plan, which I like a plan and I never get to follow a plan. It all just happens.
I love control.
Yes.
I just always want to control everything.
Yes, same. My senior year of high school, I actually was like enrolled in college. Like I was ready to go. I'm like, this is what's happening. And then everything happened with So You Think You Can Dance. And I'm like, okay, well, when that's done, I'll go back to college. So it was kind of like I was just like delaying this plan that I thought I had for myself. And then eventually it was a couple seasons into Dance with the Stars where I'm like, oh yeah, no, this is what I'm doing.
But I can imagine it's like, and this is just where my brain goes, like it's a little bit existential as well because you're achieving so much at such a young age. Did you feel, I imagine you didn't feel that at first, but gradually maybe.
So here's the thing. Yes, but it was kind of a little bit of a different situation. So this has been shared, so this is not news, but how it works on Dancing with the Stars, you get a job for a season and you sign a contract, but like there's no guarantee that they will use you every season. Yeah. So I actually felt like at the beginning, for the first couple years of my career on Dancing with the Stars, I was like living, I don't want to say I was living in fear, but there was always that thought of like this could be taken away from me at any moment. Yeah. And there were a lot of moments where actually that kind of was my very first season on the show, I was a pro, so I had a celebrity partner. Then the next season, I was like demoted technically down to the troupe. So I didn't have a partner. They were like, we don't have a partner for you this season, which technically means they didn't feel I was ready. And I was on troupe. So I was still a part of the show. The first couple years of my career, I feel like I was in that phase of like, this could be taken away any moment. For so long, it was like I was still trying to capture the dream and feel really confident in myself. And it took like 3 to 4 years until I got to the point where I was like, I know who I am in this career. I feel very confident. And it was because of the evolving that I allowed myself to do, because I really did have to like shift and change. Evolving doesn't mean like changing your core values and who you are as a person, but being willing to like see where your weaknesses are and work on them and adjust and try new things that maybe you didn't think you could do. Yeah. And so through that, I really feel like I found my place on the show. And then I ended up being on there for almost 11 years, which is wild.
Well, and I think like what you're speaking to too is about like relinquishing control. Yeah. Like we're joking about it like that we're control freaks, but I think like if you can acknowledge like you don't have control and that like you have to be willing to evolve to be happy, because I think a lot of times we think that control is what's going to ultimately give us happiness, because we're like, if I control the narrative, where I'm going, the next steps, what I'm doing, how I'm going to get there, then obviously I'm going to be
Everything's
happy.
gonna be fine, yeah.
But I think we stand in our own way and self-sabotage. Do you
Yeah.
feel like you were doing that in the beginning of your career?
Interesting. I go back to saying evolving, but then point out, like, don't change who you are, because what I think happened for me and what I know happened is when I first got that pro job and then kind of got demoted, I immediately was like so hard on myself. Like, I'm not good enough. I'm not the right personality, because TV's hard. It's very subjective. It's not like oh, you didn't do the spreadsheet correctly, so we're firing you. It's very subjective. Like, we didn't feel your personality was enough, or the choreography, or whatever it is.
Yeah,
so
well, at this point, you weren't a creator yet either.
Yes, yeah. So it's hard to like know what it is, but I spent some time thinking that I needed to be a different person to be right for the job, and I quickly learned that that is exactly the opposite of what I should be doing. Like, be yourself, stay true to what you believe you are, and just be genuine and authentic, and the right opportunities will come for you. When I finally switched and like changed my mentality on that, that's when I feel like things started falling into place. I got a celebrity partner. I was back up to being the pro that I had like really been working hard for.
Yeah.
Obviously also put in the time and like making sure I understood all of the aspects of the show and learning from others and watching how others would do it. I feel like it was like a mixture of needing to evolve, but also not trying to like become something that I'm not. If you're not being yourself, doing your job, then it's like you're not being authentic to what you should be doing with your
and then
life.
you'll start like resenting what you do too.
Exactly.
And I think like
Yeah.
obviously dance was a huge part of who you were.
Yeah,
And you're still so young at this point too. And so I think like you're just like ebbing and flowing with like the human experience.
Yeah.
And we all go through that phase where you're trying to
Yeah.
like pretend and be performative, and you put yourself in boxes because you feel like you
Yes.
can't do it all.
Yes. And I found that that's what held me back the most. And at the end of the day, I just wasn't happy. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not happy. Like, I'm not living the way that I want to be and like feeling like myself. And that's,
Yeah.
I believe, the most important, because especially in a career where I'm putting myself out there, like authenticity, people will be able to catch on to that. And so
Yeah.
I'm glad that I learned that, because obviously now, like in the career and what it's evolved to, authenticity is huge, and it's definitely helped me a lot.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, I know that you are now in a completely different place and you
Yes.
aren't on a Dancing with the Stars anymore. So can you please share like kind of what that moment was like? From what I've learned already in the conversation we had, I know that was like kind of a hard and difficult chapter. So
Yes.
break it down for us. Like, what made you want to take a step back from Dancing with the Stars and go on your own journey?
Yeah. At the moment that I kind of started to step away, I had been on the show for 10 years, I think 13 seasons.
And at this point, you're like not even 30 yet.
No, me and my husband had been married for about 6 years at this point, and we always knew that we wanted to have kids. We also were like, let's wait and like have just us. And also my career was not one that was just like, oh, you just
Yeah.
have babies whenever you want. And I knew that I really wanted to continue doing my career for as long as possible. Not that in my head I always thought like babies means I'm done, because it didn't. I was just like, I know it'll look different. But we had gotten to the point where it was like well past us feeling ready. Like, I remember it was like 2 years before that even, we're like, we could have it now, but I think we should wait.
Yeah. But I can imagine that's scary too, though, because I do think like, yes, you could dance and do that, but it's different. You can't be pregnant while you're dancing,
No.
really.
I mean, you can, but not really on national television.
No,
on Dancing with the
because
Stars.
there's like,
Yeah.
I mean, as much as like people don't like to like admit it, like there is a physical aspect to
Yeah.
being a dancer, especially on TV. And it's not like normal pregnancy where you could still do your job till you're like 8 months pregnant and then go
Yes.
on leave.
Exactly. It's like if the timing works out nice. There's actually been a couple girl pros who have been pregnant like in the beginning, and then but the timing worked out where they were like only 10 weeks pregnant by the end of the season. But with pregnancy, you can't plan those
Yeah.
things. Like, you really can't. You're like, I have no idea when I'm going to get pregnant,
Yeah.
how far along I'll be. So anyways, I knew it was a big choice because I knew it was going to affect my career. At this point too, not only was I doing the live Dancing with the Stars show, but I was also going on all of the tours, which in my mind, I'm like, there's no chance I'm taking a baby on the tour with me.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I just knew that wasn't going to be an option for me and my husband. So in my head, I'm like, I know it doesn't mean my dancing career is over, but I know it's going to look very different, and I need to be open to whatever I feel is best for my kids. So me and my husband had gotten to a point where we were like, we're ready. And I felt like I was at a point on the show where I had felt very like, I felt so confident and like almost like satisfied, not in a sense where I was like, I'm done. But in my head, there was a part of me that was like, are you comfortable if this is it. You feel like you fulfilled that dream. And I did feel that way. I was like, you know what? Like, I'm not saying I'm done, but if this is it, I do feel like I fulfilled so much of this dream.
Which is so beautiful, but also incredibly terrifying.
Oh,
Did
so
you
scary.
feel like you were kind of in like a dark space at that point? Like, you can acknowledge like, wow, like I did that and that was so impressive, but also that was like the plan I had for my life.
I think the scariest thing for me was just like, what is next? I do not sit still at all. I just don't. I don't like to not have
We're literally
something.
the same person.
Yes, I love it. We're discovering this. I don't like to not have something I'm working on. I love having a passion. I love like creating and being challenged, trying new things.
Yeah.
And so that was very scary. I know it's funny because motherhood in and of itself is all of those things and beyond.
Yeah. But you didn't know that
But I
yet.
didn't know that because I hadn't had kids. So anyways, this was by far one of the toughest decisions I've ever had to make. I will say it was the hardest decision I've ever had to make, but I had no doubt in my mind that it was the right one. And I feel like that was such a contradicting feeling. Like, I'm like, if this is the right decision, shouldn't I feel so good and excited and happy about it? And no, that is not always the case. The right decision can still be excruciatingly hard, and it can still make you cry and make you emotional and be a big change. I'll never forget the day that I called the Dance with the Stars producer and told them, because I was actually already pregnant at the time. Because that's the thing too, is we started to try to get pregnant, but it's not like I knew
like if it was going to work.
Yeah. So I'm like, let's start trying. And if I get pregnant, then I miss this season. If not, then I do it. And I remember calling the producer and just being like, I'm pregnant. I was bawling. She was so kind, so excited for me, so happy. And then obviously it was like, okay, well, yeah, I'm not going to be doing this season.
Well, so, it's emotional because like, not just because like you love them or whatever. I think it's more emotional because you're letting a part of yourself go.
Yeah.
Because no matter whether you came back or not, and I think you deep down probably knew you weren't going to.
Yeah.
You're still letting go of an identity of yourself.
Yeah.
And I think what you said was so profound. Just because decisions are hard doesn't mean it's not right.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people get stuck there.
Yeah.
Whether it's getting a new career, whether it's moving forward in their mental health, whatever it is, I think when people feel discomfort, they take that as a signal that they shouldn't move forward.
Yeah.
And in reality, I think that is the greatest signal that we're onto something.
Oh, I can confidently say that the most successful paths that I've gone down were super uncomfortable at first. Like, I did not feel super confident and like, this is it. This is for sure going to work out in the way that I want it to. Whether that was Dancing with the Stars, motherhood, going into my movement club career, like all of it started with a decision that felt so terrifying. And those have been the decisions that have been the most impactful in my life.
Yeah. Do you think that your career at such a young age allowed you and kind of gave you the strength and like bravery, I'll say, to like be able to jump when you knew? Because I think like people are probably listening like, well, how did she know it was the right move, or how did she know what to do? And I think it all lies kind of in like self-trust.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I was always like that. I think it came with experience and age, and also with the right people behind me. Because I will like die on the hill that the people that you allow into your life and into your ear when it comes to like making decisions is a game changer. From a young age, my parents always pushed us and supported us in anything that we wanted to do. And so I feel like I always had that like innate sense of like, I am being supported. Like, no matter what happens, like, even if this fails, like, I still have my people who love me and supported me. And same thing, I mean, choose your partner wisely. Like, my husband has always been the most perfect voice of reason. And I feel like it's hard because I will say it's like, it is just a feeling, but I think that feeling comes with practice and trusting it. Now, does that mean that every time I've ever had a feeling in my whole entire life, it's always the right one? No, that is not the case at all. But I think like it comes with practice of pushing through in discomfort. And the more times you do something uncomfortable and find success out of it, the more you trust yourself.
You trusted not that it was going to work out, but that you would be able to handle whatever outcome.
Yes. When you follow a feeling or a gut feeling or like a new passion, you need to go into it with the thought process of like, I'm pursuing this because I believe in it, not because I know it's going to work.
Yeah.
Because if you're only doing it for success, then I just don't necessarily think that you're gonna get where you need to be.
No, totally.
Like, it needs to be something that you are excited about, passionate about, and willing to do anything you can to make it happen. Not just I'm doing this because I think it'll make me money, or I think it'll do this for me, or something like that.
Yeah. Well, and it sounds like you had a really good head on your shoulder, but you're also human. And I can imagine this was like a very difficult, anxious time for you.
Yes.
Do you feel like you had to work on detaching your identity from the career, or do you think you had already kind of started to do that?
So I think something that I started to work on when I when I talked to you about like that kind of low moment in my career where I was trying to be other people and trying to like be right for the job.
Yeah.
I think I learned a really good lesson there to not attach yourself and your identity and your worth to any part of your career.
Yeah.
Your worth has nothing to do with how successful your career is or how successful your business is.
Yeah.
And so I think I started to like separate that to the point where it was more that I was like, how are people going to receive this new side of me, rather than feeling like I was like insecure because I didn't have that part of me anymore, if that makes sense.
No, totally.
So I think that came with practice, and I had started to do that earlier, because before it was like, if I didn't do well in my career, it's because I was the worst person ever and I was not good enough, which that's just not how it is.
Yeah.
So I had to learn that. Otherwise I would have been very miserable and insecure and unhappy. But going into this big shift, knowing me and knowing that I like to be busy and have a passion and pursue something, and also so many of my friends and people who had babies just said, like, don't be afraid to do things for yourself and like keep parts of you. Like, you are a mother and you'll give everything to your kids, but keep parts of you as well.
Yeah.
And I knew that mentally as a mother, I would do better if I still had things that I did for myself and that I pursued myself. And so just looking at those at like, okay, well, what is that going to be? And how are people going to receive this? Because up until this point, the only thing that people have followed me for, known me for, is my career on Dancing with the Stars.
And you had a digital community at this point, right? Like, you built it up over the decade, Dancing with the Stars, and then you also were sharing content online. But was the content just dancing?
Oh, yeah. And content back then was so different.
Yeah.
Like, but it was literally just dancing. Like, my feed was, vote for me this week. Here's my number. Text Jordan to this. Because it was like pictures of me and my partner, costumes, on tour. It was not like Lindsay.
Yeah.
It wasn't Lindsay, here's a look into my life. And to be honest, when all of this happened, was kind of the shift where we did start to see a little bit more of that like lifestyle content from people. So timing was kind of really in my favor in that way. But at the same time, I could have just not done anything about it. Like, I'd never had this much free time ever in my whole entire life, ever. It was also COVID. I had never been in my home for that much time.
Which
ever.
Sounds like nice to people who aren't like us, who need to be
I was going crazy.
Working, hustling, achieving. And you're just like, what the fuck am I going to do?
Yeah, I was going crazy. And I had started to see a rise in social media content creation and how it wasn't just like you have to be a celebrity to gain a following. Like, you could just share your life. So I decided, I'm like, first thing was like, I'm going to really dive into content creation. I actually signed with a whole new management team, which was a game changer for me. Again, cool. I just think I go back to like your village and the people behind you can truly make or break how well you do in your career. So I signed with a new management company, and it was like, okay, like, I'm committing to this kind of new sort of content sharing.
When you're committing to like showing up as you, which I can imagine was like exciting, but also like really intimidating.
Yeah.
Like the start of a new era, because people don't understand who aren't in content. Your business, when you're a content creator and podcaster, especially like me, like, you're showing up as you. So your business is you.
Yeah.
Things become so entangled. And so when people don't like something, or when things perform well, or when people have something to say, like, that's a critique on you.
Yeah.
If you're showing up authentically, which you were.
Yeah. I like to think that I had a little bit of an advantage because I had been on TV for so many years.
Yeah.
That like at this point, I feel very lucky. I was so used to critiques, like whether it was from the judges on the shows, but to be honest, like Reddit pages, just Lindsay's the worst dancer ever. She looks so terrible in that costume. She's like, I had seen all of and read all of the things that I feel like I had gotten to a point where I was pretty numb to it, which was so good.
Yeah.
Because like you said, showing up on social media is scary. But I will say it was a different aspect, because as I'm doing this, I'm also sharing about my pregnancy, which if you post on social media and you're a mom, you know that like the pregnancy and the mom shamers are on another level. Like, I don't think I've ever seen anything as insane. And it's sad because it's usually from like other moms. And I'm like, can't we just like...
That's really fucked up.
I know. It's crazy. But anyway, so that was a little bit new. But I will say I'm grateful that I like had those years of being like, okay, yeah, what are you going to say? Let's just laugh about it. Read it, laugh, move on.
I think you have to be confident in like who you are
you
to
do.
Like show up online. If you're pretending to be something you're not going to go far. And so you do have to be confident enough to handle like criticism. And it's always, of course, I mean, people will be like, bullies are always just bullied themselves, or like people who say mean things are just insecure. But like that doesn't make it feel
No,
better.
it still
for the most
isn't fun
part.
to
It's
read
not
it.
fun.
Yeah.
So you have to be very secure in who you are. And I can imagine people are listening like, yeah, she was confident in who she was, but she was deciding to embark on a completely different career. How did you find confidence during that time? Or you were trying to find a career at this point?
Honestly, I'm like, hey, well, I guess my thing was I'm like, I'm going to fully commit to this. Here's the thing. I like to send it. Like if I'm doing something, like we're going full send.
I love that.
And I feel like I've learned and kind of like now made it like my thing. Like if you want to do anything, I truly believe you need to commit for like an entire year to this thing. Give it your all before you even take a moment to decide if it's like successful or worth it.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to another guest about this. Like I feel like the content culture has made people so impatient and, and also unrealistic to like what it takes to run a successful company.
Oh my gosh.
Because people will blow up and it's like they'll see the one person blow up and they're like, oh, well, like she became a content creator in 5 days. So like I can too. And I've been doing content creation since I was 21. Like I'm not even close to where some of these huge creators are. That's like fluke. That's not real. It's not realistic. And whether you're a content creator or you're just trying to start a business or you're trying to build a career, it does not happen in a year. It doesn't happen in a couple years usually. Yeah. But to your point, like you'll see traction and know.
Yeah. Or at least just know, like, was this fulfilling to me? Did I feel like it enhanced? But yeah, like I've made that a rule for myself. So I did that with social media. I'm like, I'm going to commit. I can't remember the parameters that I set for myself, but it was something about like, I'm going to do this many posts a week and I'm going to post on my story this many times. Like I really tried to be like meticulous plan, but like commit. So started doing that. And it was interesting because big fear with that was just like, are people going to care? Are they going to be like, Lindsay, shut up. We just want to see you dance, which I did get a lot of those comments. But then I also saw this insane, huge growth in an area that I hadn't even touched on yet.
Yeah.
It was like pregnant women who are first-time pregnant moms, and they're like, oh, I like following this girl who is sharing her pregnancy journey, or first-time moms, or it was really cool to see. I'm not going to say it wasn't like, it was all like everyone was all for it, because there was a lot of grandmas who were really mad. Like, we don't want to see this, Lindsay. Go back on Dancing with the Stars.
People forget that people are real.
I know, they do, but it's fine. But it was cool because that was kind of like the start, and it put this flicker in my brain of like, okay, there is something else. Not that that was like all I wanted, but hey, what else can I do?
Yes, what like your identity isn't just dance.
Yes.
Like you're showing who you are and like discovering this new part of yourself and building a new career, and people really like it and like, you feel good doing it. And I can imagine that was super expansive for you because I mean, I was not a dancer and I wasn't a competitive dancer, but I've known a bunch of them growing up, and I feel like it's just like athletes, like they put in you and program into you that like it's your life.
Yeah.
And so I can imagine you change careers and then you get this validation of like, wow, like people like it. But even more so you like it. I can imagine that was super healing.
Oh, it was amazing. And it started like going back to dance, because I will say like it was fun to do content. I'm like, this is cool, because in my head I'm like, this is great because I can do it from home. Like once I have a baby, this isn't something I have to step away from. But I will say there was like this missing piece of like being a dancer, a choreographer for so many years. I'm like, I want to create. I want to move. I want to create. And that was looking very, very different for me because I was not dancing at the time. And I knew I wouldn't probably be dancing in the near future while pregnant. This is where like the birth of the Movement Club, my workout program, began, because it's COVID. Any gym or workout class that I used to go to in my off season closed. I'm at home. I'm newly pregnant, first time pregnancy, which was scary in and of itself. Like just my body was changing and I could tell that things were changing and I couldn't do all the things that I used to be able to do.
Yeah.
And I just felt like I was scouring the internet for a program that felt good for me. And I'm stubborn and I'm like, hey, I don't just want like a pregnancy program that's like super dumbed down or too easy. But I also am not at the level where I'm like able to do every single thing I was doing before.
Well, it's like the people who like the brands who just have pregnancy clothes, and it's like people don't want to wear pregnancy clothes. They want to wear cute clothes, normal clothes that just fit them.
Yeah. Like I felt like there was just like such a divide. It was like either you're in the best shape of your life or you're like, it was just, there was no like middle ground or something that just felt like it was good for everybody.
Yeah. I'm glad you're bringing this part of your story up. And I really wanted to focus on part of it because what you just said about how like your body was changing and you wanted to move and you didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I can imagine a huge part of getting pregnant. I've never been pregnant, but I can imagine even as someone who's really struggled with body image stuff themselves, I think all women do.
Yeah.
But like, getting pregnant is not just scary because you're entering a new identity and you're like going to be raising a human and you're building life. It's scary for a lot of women because your body is changing.
Yeah.
Your physical appearance had so much to do with your job and like being a professional dancer. I could imagine like you're in the greatest shape of your life all the time. How did you handle the change in your body?
Yeah. So it's a lot. It is scary because also having it be my first time, I didn't know. Like, you just don't know. Like, I will say second and third, I mean, I'm in my third pregnancy now. I'm like, yeah, we know the drill. This is what happens.
Yeah.
And then you know, like, what comes after, where it's just like, you just don't know. You're like, what is it going to be like after? Am I going to ever be able to do anything again? I don't want to say it was always easy in any way, but I will say I was so excited about pregnancy. I actually feel like it's funny. My second pregnancy hit me the hardest with the body changes because I feel like the glimmer of a first pregnancy wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
In the first pregnancy, I was like, I was excited for the bump. I wanted to have a big belly. I wanted to like feel pregnant. Not to say that it wasn't times where I'd look in the mirror and be like, who is this woman? Like, who is this? Everything changes.
Yeah.
Everything gets bigger. Everything stretches. And then beyond that, like there is a lot of physical pains involved. Like a lot of movements that I would be like, I could do this, no problem. No longer can do them. My second pregnancy was a little bit harder because I feel like that like first time around.
The honeymoon stage.
Yes, the honeymoon pregnancy was over. And I'm like, gosh, dang it. Okay, here we go. And I would say like, women are incredible because the roller coaster that our bodies go through to bring life into this world is actually insane. I feel like postpartum is a really hard time because your body is no longer creating life. So you don't have that like, I'm making a human, so it's okay. And you're now just like, wait, what am I left with? And now I've got to like rebuild, repair, all the things. But that to me is like so frustrating. I hate that there's this like rebuild, get back at it, because your body will never be the same. My body is never going to be the same body as it was before children.
Yeah.
But I've learned to like embrace that and love that. And I actually feel like I've been able to grow even stronger than I was before, just in a different way. So I think there's just so much that goes into like how you feel about your body throughout pregnancy. But I found that like focusing on like what's actually happening is really cool. It shifts your mind from like, okay, well, yeah, my body looks different, but there's literally human in there. Like,
yeah. Well, and creating something for you that I think is like aligned with like the new version of like who you're becoming and also what your body is becoming as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's the beautiful thing about Movement Club is that you started it kind of at the beginning of the next identity that like you were stepping into.
Well, that was honestly, I still am like, you are insane, Lindsay. Like, why did you think this was the prime time to start a workout program? Because I started, had the idea shortly after finding out I was pregnant. I was like, I feel like this is something I'd want to do. I was discovering this like new sense of moving my body because I was stepping away from dancing. I also like really wanted to show up and be like provide something for the people that I was influencing,
like offer value.
Yes, I wanted to offer value. Like I wanted my presence, show my life, share my life, and be open and vulnerable and help in that way of like being relatable. But like I want to provide value, and I knew without a doubt, I'm like, if I feel this way about a missing piece in the fitness space, 1000% there are other people who feel the same way as I do. And so I had the idea, but it was scary, and I really, really doubted myself. Actually, it was months of me just being like,
As you're like filming the programs?
Yeah, well,
Pregnant?
I actually hadn't started. So this is what's so dumb is I'm like, I had the idea right away. It wasn't until 20 weeks pregnant that I actually started filming my first video.
Wow.
So I was just like, but then like I said, full send. I was like, hey, there was one day where I was just like, I'm doing this. My husband actually built like a makeshift filming studio in our unfinished basement. If
he was like, you're doing it now.
Oh yeah. But here's the thing too, is I'm like, if he had wavered, it wouldn't have happened. Like, I remember telling him, like, well, I don't even know where I'd film. Oh, don't worry, honey. We can figure out. Like, we'll make it work. And, like, he made it happen. So it's like having those people around you that are like, no, if you want to do this, like, you're going to do it. And I'm so grateful for that. So he made a little makeshift studio for me, and it was hilarious. But it looked amazing on camera. But if you knew what it actually was, you would have been like, this is terrible. We literally didn't have walls. So we put up, like, a white photo backdrop paper on our beams in our basement. And it looked like we had a wall. It was amazing. But anyways, started filming, and I was like, full send. I'm going to launch this program with 45 videos. And so from 20 weeks pregnant until I think I filmed the last one at like 36 weeks pregnant.
Wow.
I filmed 45 videos. And the whole time was just like, who is going to want to do this program? Who is going to be like, yep, Lindsay's my personal trainer, the girl who's losing her abs, gaining weight. Like, it just felt so off to me in my mind. But then that pushed me even further because it was just going so much back to what the whole mentality behind this program is like, show up as you are. Doesn't matter what phase of life you're in. If you're in the best shape, the worst shape, whatever it is, if you've never worked out a day in your life, there is going to be something here for you.
So powerful. And I love it because I think that not a lot of people can see the in-betweens and like the moments before like it's all perfect and tied in a bow, especially on social media. And so to hear, and for people to hear that you had imposter syndrome, it sounds like the entire pregnancy,
I think
is very relatable and inspiring too.
Well, and it was scary to like, so filming them alone was scary, but nobody knew. Nobody knew I was doing this. I wasn't sharing. I wasn't talking about it. So it kind of felt like this little secret that it was like, this is scary for me, but like nobody knows yet. So I don't have to hear what people think and I don't have to know if it's good or bad. Actually pushing the program live was scary.
What do you think was the biggest fear of it all?
Just that people would be like, why are you doing this? Like, we don't want to work out with you. Like I
who
think,
are you?
Yes. I obviously I got my certified personal trainer license. Like, I need to be qualified to do this. So, and I was fully qualified, and I still had those doubts because I just felt like my identity wasn't that yet. Yeah. And to be honest, like, we launched and I was so stoked. I felt like the response was amazing for that moment. But looking back, like, it was very small, like a very small response. Like, if that happened today, knowing what success has looked like for the brand, like if we had a month that looked like our first month, I'd be like, well, we failed. But like at the time, it was this exciting glimmer of hope. And like, this is so new. But I go back to say that because I think it's important that like you said, I feel like social media in this day and age, it's almost like this blow up culture. And if you don't blow up, then you failed. But that is not the case at all. It has been the amount of growth and evolving that has happened over the past 5 years. Like, if you would have told me the Movement Club would be where it is today, I don't know if I would have believed you. I was just so excited because it felt like this really cool new next step for me and felt so true to who I was and this new version of myself. Yeah. I then went on to film a postpartum program. Like, I've just been creating videos throughout every phase of my life that it's always felt like I'm showing up as me. And that has made, no matter what, no matter how successful it is, it's been so beneficial for me personally as well as our members.
Well, and that's what I don't think enough people talk about is that like when you do what you love and you're like authentically aligned with your purpose, and to your point, like your purpose can change. Like your dreams can evolve. I think evolving is like a big theme when it comes to happiness. But if you're aligned in like what makes you happy and lights your soul on fire, if you're offering something of value, you're in service of people, a community of someone else, like it makes the hard moments bearable, I think. And it's like motivation to keep going. And no matter what happens, it feels good to work. And I think I hear a lot of people who are like unsatisfied in what they're doing. And I think a lot of times it's because they don't love or believe in what they're doing. And when you do, you can kind of like push through and use it as motivation to get through anything.
No, 100%. I always go back to like, what's your why? Like, why are you doing this? Like, ultimately, nobody does things to not like succeed. Yeah. But like, why? Like, why do you want to succeed?
It can't just be money.
Yes, exactly. It can't. Because I truly just do, like, not to say that you can't just go make money, but it's like, that'll never be enough for you. It'll never be enough. If you don't love and enjoy and appreciate and like value the work that you're doing, no amount of money, in my opinion, is going to lead to like happiness, which ultimately that should matter more. That's not to say that there hasn't been a lot of moments where it was like, oh gosh, I remember about mid-year 2, we did start to look at the business. It was stagnant. Things were kind of not shifting. And we're like, okay, well, let's give it another 6 months, reassess and see where we need to go. And this is where, again, another full send moment. Being a mom and working is so hard because there's so many phases of my life where I feel like I'm able to give so much to my career. And then phases of life where I'm like, feeling like I'm barely keeping my head above water. Yeah. And this was a phase of life where I had kind of come out of the water and I was like, I am going full send.
And another moment of evolution. Yes. And I think I'm glad you brought this up too, because like you could be successful. Like you had this amazing career on Dancing with the Stars. Then you evolve and pivot. You build an audience. You're doing content creation. You build the program. Yay, successful. And now you have to evolve again. Yes. Like it doesn't matter how successful you become or how successful your business like becomes. You're going to be faced with those evolution moments over and over again. I guarantee you, I mean, I don't know them personally, but I guarantee you, like, the Kardashians are faced with these evolution moments all the time where they have to be like, okay, we have to get uncomfortable again and do this. Like, the stakes are always rising, and it doesn't matter whether you're super fucking famous, successful, and wealthy or not. Like, you're still human.
No, it's so true, especially in social media and with like virality and all the things, which a lot of our business, like a lot of my business relies on social media, like, and engagement and what my followers want to see. And that is constantly changing. And then with a program and a platform where we have thousands and thousands of members who are all different, who are all looking for different things, and making sure I am giving everybody a little bit of what they need. A lot of our involvement on the Movement Club has been centered around our members and what they're asking for, what they're drawn to. And so it's just something where every step of the way, like you said, it's like, if you want to see success, you need to evolve, because things are going to rapidly shift. Like, if you're stuck in a way, it's not going to work forever, but it's like it's something you have to be willing to do, because it is uncomfortable. And it's hard.
That's a lot of pressure too. Like, how do you manage the pressure of, like, you have 1 million something, almost 2 million followers on Instagram, thousands and thousands of members on the platform. Like, how do you keep the mission first without letting the pressure get to you?
I think shutting out the outside noise, like, especially on social media. I don't read comments. I don't go in my DMs. Like, I just don't.
Like, no.
Like, I just don't. And I have to just be very choosy about that. I don't go looking for negative, because you will find it. Like, I'll always say that. If you look to find something negative, there is going to be plenty.
Unless you're having like a moment of self-hatred. You're like,
yes,
let me
I'm
open
like,
my DMs.
Or honestly, sometimes I'm like, I kind of want to laugh. Like, let's have a little laugh if I'm feeling like I'm in that mood. So when it comes to social media, I think, like, keep your head out of the noise, because there's a lot of it. And then I think when it comes to like success in a business, when things get hard, just go back to the why, because things will always be hard. Like, I don't think there's ever been a time where I'm like, it depends on the person. I'm the kind of person where I'm like, I always am seeing the ways that things could be better and improve, and understanding that doesn't mean you failed. That just means you're growing and you're doing everything you can to be better. I love to rely on our members, like their reviews, their messages, their emails, and like going back to like seeing the value of the work and like what it's actually bringing to people's lives, and not just looking at success as like a number on a page, but as like a, how am I enhancing somebody's life? So going back to those, we actually have a shared album with my social team, and they add like any DM, review, nice comment that is left. And I love going in there and reading, because then I'm just like, I don't care what this says. This right here shows that this is a value. And so I think going back to those moments is helpful.
How do you think, like, through starting the app, going through this, like, the months of your pregnancy, filming, launching, like, how do you think your own healing evolved? How do you think you view fitness now? Because I can imagine that, like, that's a healing journey in itself.
I always say, I'm like, the Movement Club is for my members, but I would say I have gotten just as much, if not more, benefit mentally, physically, emotionally out of creating these workouts and these programs than anyone else. I've gone through now 2 pregnancies, 2.5 pregnancies, and 2 postpartum periods, all while continuously showing up and creating content for the platform.
It's crazy.
We have over 400 plus workouts on the platform, and every single time I show up and film, I feel like a better person after. Like, yes, I'm filming this movement and this workout for my members, but I am doing it myself. I am showing up. I am taking time out of my busy day as a mom, as a business owner, to move my body. And truly nothing is more beneficial to me than my consistency with movement. My relationship with movement has completely changed. I mean, growing up as a dancer, it just looked different. Like, for a long time, moving my body and dancing was like my passion, and then it was my career. So my body was my tool to like do what I needed to do for my job.
Well, and you're on camera, so it's like you have to look good.
Yes, it was pressure filled. The consistency with my movement is about making me a better person, and I can attest to that through and through. The amount of like benefits I've seen in my life, yes, physical benefits, cool, great. But beyond that, like the emotional, mental health benefits that I see from being consistent with my movement is the reason that I wake up every single day and move my body.
I used to like make fun, like, and like low key, like hate the girls that were like, I don't really need to work out, but like I do it for my mental health. And I'd be like, shut the fuck up.
That's
like
literally me.
No, I know, because I'd be like, are you serious? Like, if I just had to work out for my mental health, like I would walk.
I would, like you're like, I'm not doing.
I don't want to do this. But I think like the more I've gotten like fit and like given my attention to like my body, but also to your point, like the practices within my mental health, when I don't go work out and when I don't sharpen the tools in my toolbox to keep me in check when it comes to my depression and anxiety and all that, like it makes life so much worse. Like I see the correlation between the way I see the world and the way I'm working out, the way I'm showing up for myself physically, mentally, emotionally. So unfortunately, I feel it's true.
Yeah. No, it's a thing. I never ever thought of it like that. For sure, before children too, like becoming a mom changed that for me because it no longer became a like, should I work out today? It's like, can I work out today? Can I find time? And that became like,
it's like a luxury.
Yes, everything is a luxury now, which is so funny. I forget what I'm like, wow, like I really took that for granted, and I totally did. And so I love like not even just sharing that with mothers, because a lot of our members are mothers, but a lot aren't. And I'm like, movement is something that no matter when you can do it, no matter how long you can do it for, that's what is like so big about the movement club is like there's so much pressure on like go to the gym for 2 hours, do the stair stepper for 45 minutes, then you have to do a full Pilates class, then you have to do and to me I'm like, no, that's because that's not realistic for most people. Like it just isn't. So movement club is all about keeping it like short and attainable. None of them are longer than 30 minutes. So it's like truly you can fit it in anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
And for me, I've noticed like whether I get 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, or 5 minutes, like any moment that I set aside for myself in my day really does make me a better person.
Yeah. I mean, I think even like listening to your story and learning more about you has made the idea of wanting to start a family and have children feel like not as daunting, because I do think, especially for people like me and probably a lot of our listeners, they have careers, or like even in my case, like I have a career, I'm super ambitious, and the idea of having a child scares me a bit because it's like I'm going to have to give all of that up, or I'm not going to be able to live the life I live now. And of course there's sacrifice, but I do think you're a testament to you can do it all. It just maybe is going to look different. And again, back to our evolving point, like you're going to have to evolve in some way.
Yeah.
But I do think a lot of women are scared that their life is going to change, or that they're going to have to give up some of their dream and identity.
Yeah. So your life will change. But in my opinion, like the amount of growth that I've seen in myself and in my life since having children surpasses any amount of growth that I had prior in my entire life. Like the amount of growth that you see in a short amount of time with children, and because you have no choice but to evolve. You have no choice but to adapt to your children, to your career. And yes, your life does change, but I mean, I feel like I'm like, pregnancy's the best thing ever, kids are the best, but it really is. Like your identity changes, but only as much as you allow it to. But I would say more like the things that fulfill you changes a little bit. Yeah. And I feel like this, especially in my career, I feel like I'm actually way more level-headed, because at the end of the day, you go home and you're like, I have my babies and this is all that matters.
Yeah. I think you're grounded though in pregnancy, like because you've actually put in an effort to hold on to the things that make you you.
I'm not sitting here going like, this is all that I am. I feel like you can look at it in so many different ways, but holding on to those little bits of you. And my biggest thing is like, just find something that you're passionate about it and be consistent with it. It doesn't have to be this huge grand career. It can be if you want it to be. But I mean, I hope I'm a testament that you can have a career that you love and feel passionate about and have success, and also be a mother and feel good about both of those things.
Yeah. Well, and I like what you said, like if you choose it.
Yeah.
Like the power is in your hands.
It is.
And I think like, of course, some of us are more privileged than others and have like a more supportive partner or whatever the situation is. Yeah. But I do think like it is your choice if you want to continue to nurture your identity, your relationships. And looking back at my childhood, I feel like my mom didn't really have an identity like in what she loved to do. And so I do think it's important to like really continue to nurture who you are so that you can be a good parent. I'm the person with no kids giving advice on being a parent. But I do think like as the child of someone, I do see like it is important to continue to feed your identity. Like you shouldn't give it up. You actually can't give it up if you want to be like a good example for your children.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like that looks different for everyone, whether it's a career, whether it's not a career, but having a fun hobby. Like, I think it's just...
Or working out.
Yes, or moving your body. Motherhood is the biggest, it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is the biggest shift in life, and your life will change. But I also think it's the most beautiful opportunity for growth. And I think there's just so much potential as mothers. I mean, women are incredible. The capacity that women have, and then your capacity just grows and grows with each child or with each shift in your life.
Oh, I can imagine. I look back, even me, like single, no kids, and I look at how I was like in the beginning of my career, how I would like tell people like I'm so busy, blah, blah, blah. And like I'm so much busier now.
Yeah.
Like you build tolerance and resilience if you have to.
Yeah.
And
you just expand. You just expand.
You evolve.
You evolve. That's
the theme of our episode.
This is our title, Evolve. But no, really, I think it's so cool. And for my members, nothing makes me happier than getting the messages of like, thank you for helping me find time to be me and to give back to myself, because that is always my number one priority for my members, is for every single one, whether they're mothers or not, like no matter what phase of life they're in, just feeling like they have a moment in their day where they can show up for themselves, because I know how difficult that can be at every phase of life.
Yeah. How has the business evolved and how is it evolving now?
Yes. So like I said, so much of our evolvement has been centered around our members, what they're asking for. A lot of it has to do with me as well. Like I am someone who likes to shift and change and try new things. I filmed a full pregnancy program during my last pregnancy in real time, did a full postpartum program in real time, because we recognized a lot of our members were also either pregnant or postpartum or all the things. And then our biggest shift is we actually launched our very first ever custom product. It's called the Everything Band.
Woo.
I know, this has been like my baby. I mean, not my actual baby, but my little equipment baby.
What number is that now?
Yeah,
I know. Fourth child.
Yeah, this has been my equipment, my movement club baby for it. It's almost been 2 years of prototyping, getting it right. But it stemmed from the idea of helping my members achieve what they wanted in an efficient way, because I'm all about efficiency. Like I understand that none of us have time to waste in our days, so let's be efficient.
Yeah.
We found that our members, most of my workouts, a lot of my workouts now, you can do without equipment, but we started incorporating weight training, resistance training, all the things. Just for myself alone, I'm looking in my gym and I have like 15 resistance bands lying around, all different sizes, different resistance levels. They're all going to snap and break on me after like 5 uses. Just like realizing
the chaos of the weight room, like after you're done. Like,
oh
there's
my
like
gosh.
15
Chaos.
weights and like it's not convenient.
Yes. And then also looking at a lot of my members are working out in their living room with no equipment because they don't want to have to buy 10 different weights or 10 different bands. And so I had this idea for a resistance band that is a multi-loop resistance band that literally can do everything. It replaces every resistance band. You can adjust the resistance level while you're working out with the same product. It can replace like weight training, all the things.
So cool. Such a great idea.
Yeah.
And we have it right
here.
Yes,
I know. Should I show?
Yeah. If you're watching, you'll be able to see.
Okay. So it's a multi-loop resistance band. So it's long, and I wish I could show you every movement that you could do with it right here, but that would take all day.
Do like a How I See It X movement club workout
yes,
or something.
Exactly. So it's this incredible, it's got loops all the way down so that you're able to change the resistance, like depending on what you feel is best for you. So many movements with this. Because I didn't want to just like hand this band to my members and be like, figure it out. I created a 4-week program using the band. A lot of people were like, why don't you just create your own resistance band? I'm like, I'm not going to buy some bands off Amazon and slap the Movement Club logo on it, because why would I do that? Why would I do that? That's dumb.
Yeah.
I want to create something that you haven't seen before, that is useful and different and new and innovative. And like truly the amount of sampling and back and forth we did with this, because I was very particular about the band material, about its stretch, about how it feels when it's around your ankle, your thigh, your arm. Like I want it to be comfy.
When it's on your thighs and it just like rolls off or like it's rolling up. It's the worst.
No, you don't get any of that here. So a lot of prototyping, because I'm like, if I'm doing this also, I want it to be really good.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. And it's fun because this is our first like kind of like dip in this
like
product development
world.
Yeah, physical world. Like I think it's going to be really cool, and I hope to do more. Like I want to do more of this. I want to create more innovative products that solve a problem for my members, not just something that you can throw out that you can get anywhere. Like I want it to be a solution for my members and make their lives easier and make movement more attainable for them. So I'm really, really excited.
I'm curious, what is the biggest lesson you've learned through entrepreneurship, and what's the biggest lesson you've learned through motherhood?
Ooh, I feel like you're gonna hate me for saying the word, because you already know what
Evolve.
it is. I need to change it. Evolve is huge because, like I said, like with motherhood, maybe another word is like adapt, like be willing to like
roll with the punches.
Yeah, roll with it. And I think just know that it doesn't mean you failed. that goes for both motherhood and career. Like there are so many days where I'm like, that was, as a mom, that was the worst day I've literally ever had. Like I was not on top of it. I forgot every single thing we needed to do. I didn't bring shoes to the park. I didn't pack a snack. Like everything just was terrible. And I always say like the good thing is you can just like wake up and try again tomorrow. And I always tell that to friends. Like if you have a really bad mom day, go to sleep, you get another shot tomorrow, and it's going to be okay. Don't look at things as like, this was bad now, so that means it's bad forever. And I say that to moms, like new moms in the newborn phase. I'm like, this feels like it's bad and hard and difficult and crazy now, but like, just try again tomorrow.
Yeah, well, and I think this is why it's so important to work on and do the work around like detaching your worth from your identity. Because like if your worth is attached to you succeeding as a mother, like that's going to be really rough when you said like you forgot the shoes or like shit goes down. Like you can't be in control.
Yeah.
And for people like us who really struggle with control, I think that's really, really hard. Do you think like as you evolved and like you had kids, like your need for control just like kind of dimmed?
Oh, 100%. It's something I constantly have to work on because I wouldn't say I'm like, I don't care. Everything's fine. Like, just do whatever. Like, I still have those days where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go crazy because I can't like keep anything under control. But I think the need for control, especially too in business, like I think understanding that there are certain things that are out of your control and it's not always a bad thing. Like a lot of times the things that have gone technically wrong from my plan were the things that pushed me in the direction of more success than I thought.
Love.
So I think like, yes, letting go of control is huge, especially as a mom. You will not have control 90% of your day, but it's also like learning to appreciate the chaos a little bit because there's always something that comes from it. Like there's never been a chaotic moment where I didn't come out on the other side feeling like, okay, like I either grew or I learned a good lesson or I achieved something great that I didn't think I could do. So enjoy the chaos because it won't always be there. Just be ready to like shift and adapt and it's okay. And failure in a moment does not mean you failed your mission. And I think it's important to remember that.
Well, and I think it's about like removing the charge from failure. Like we said earlier, it's like failure is like required. Like you can't do anything right or you can't be successful without failures. Like you won't learn and it won't like level you up. Like you kind of just have to accept that a part of the human experience is negativity.
Yes.
Like,
well, and it's what makes you better. Like it is, unfortunately. Like it sucks to hear that, but it's like no matter what, it will make you stronger if you let it. So let it.
What would you say to someone listening who's in a really dark place with moving from one identity to the next? They're having to, for some reason, whether it's giving up a business, giving up a passion, maybe they're an athlete too, and they have to like find something else. Yeah. What would you say to them in this moment?
Find your why of what you're going to do next. So like if you're making a shift, why? Why are you making the shift? Is it because you feel unhappy where you are? Is it because you think you have more potential? Is it because you have a new passion? And then really lean into that why. I think if you go about it in any other way, you're going to be either disappointed if it doesn't go the way that you wanted it to. The other thing would be don't like, kind of going back to what I said, like don't let the thought of it being a hard thing to do make you feel like it's wrong.
Yeah.
Because it's just, it does not mean that. Like hard and wrong do not always go hand in hand. And so I think just trust your instinct, trust yourself, and then also just know that like things probably won't go the way that you want them to, and that's okay. That doesn't mean you failed. Give yourself that time and give the dream or whatever it is you're pursuing the time to actually grow before you make any like drastic decision.
Well, yeah, you have to be purpose driven. And I think a lot of people, to your point, try to figure out what they're doing next instead of trying to figure out what their new purpose is going to be.
Yeah.
Because especially if you're someone like an athlete, like, or someone who's like really sunk into something, like that has become inevitably a part of who you are. And so you kind of have to detach. You can't be replacing it. You don't know what's going to replace it. You have to find what like lights you up and like what's the thing that's going to make you, I don't know, want to get up every single day. Like I wouldn't be able to work as hard as I do if I didn't love what I do.
No,
like,
it's true.
So hard.
Well, and you wouldn't push through those moments that suck.
No, because I'd be like, I don't care about this.
Yeah. You'd be like, well, whatever, then it's over. And I think that happens a lot more. So that's why it's like, I think if you're making a shift, like you've got to have that passion and that why behind it, because if you don't, then I just don't really think you'll see it through in the way that you need to in order to see success in a business.
Yeah, well, and the biggest blessing I feel like is giving your dream room to grow and
Yes.
evolve.
Yeah.
Because I think for a while I was stuck in a place where I was like, this is how it is. Again, like my control freak thing on. Like, this is how it is and this is what I want and this is what my life is going to look like.
Yeah.
And I think the moment I allowed my dream, like the space to kind of take on new shapes was the moment that I became like more fulfilled.
Yeah.
And so I've learned now moving forward, like if something is calling, like you kind of just have to like follow it and like add and see where it fits in, because if anything, your dream is just going to get bigger.
100%. Like, don't be scared of the calls to growth. I feel like a lot of times we're like scared or we don't want to. A lot of times I feel like it happens too when you finally feel like you've got it together. You're like,
always.
I'm nailing it. I'm doing all the things. And it's like, well, now you should do this too. And you're like, oh, I don't want to. But I have always found that those moments are like the best. And like I said, like going back to how you just like expand, like there's so many times in my life where I'm like, I literally don't know how I could add one more thing to my plate. And then you do it, and then you look back and you're like, why did I even act like that was going to be? So just know that like humans are meant to grow and evolve and expand. So like, why not allow ourselves to do that as much as we can?
Yeah, like we're capable of so much more than we give ourselves credit for. And if you have to, you do.
Yes.
So like to your point, like I picture the plate like being stuffed and then like you can still fit more things.
Yeah, stack it on top. It's fine. Flavors can combine.
Yeah. And the moments that I've limited myself are the moments that I've like stayed stagnant. And like I don't want to be stagnant. Like I want to continue to grow. And if you want to continue to grow, the cost of entry is uncomfortability and anxiety and all of the negative emotions. Yeah. Negative emotions are required to kind of get to the other side. And I think accepting that makes it at least a lot easier to handle in the moment, because sometimes, and I wrote a recent Substack on this, but I'm like, sometimes just the charge we attach to these negative feelings is what keeps us stuck. Like if you can just acknowledge like, these negative things are happening, that's just a part of life.
Yes.
It sucks. It hurts. But like, I just have to keep moving forward because it's fine.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. No, I love that. Like what you attach to an emotion is huge because you really can choose it. Like I feel like I found when I going back to how I said like getting in bed at the end of the day and feeling super defeated, like acknowledging the defeat, throwing it out the window so I can prep for the next day and being like, I got another chance helped so much with not letting that feeling linger into another day where it's like, why? Like it's done. What's done is done. Why would I let this linger? But it's like something that you have to respond quickly to with those negative emotions to then be able to move forward.
Yeah, it's a choice. Yeah. And I think people really let their thoughts control everything. And
and it's a tool that you have to, it's not like you just, I understand it's like, it's a choice, but I also understand it's way easier said than done.
It's like a skill.
But it's practice. Like it takes practice. It takes doing that over and over and over again until you're finally like, wait, oh, actually, I feel like
this is getting easier.
It's getting a little bit easier. So yeah.
Thank you so much for being here and for getting vulnerable and sharing. I ask everyone as the last question, looking back on the journey you've had, dancing for So You Think You Can Dance, Dancing with the Stars, getting married, having children, building the app, looking back at it all, how do you see it?
Oh my gosh, how do I see it?
I know, it's a big question.
I feel like the biggest thing that I think of is just gratitude. Like truly, I could not be more grateful for every single aspect of my journey, the good, the bad. And honestly, I find myself being even more grateful for the bad sometimes because one, the amount of growth that I've learned from it is immeasurable. Yeah. But also like without those moments of hard, like the beauty of all the good and the fun and the easy moments and the success and all the things, like they wouldn't feel as good. So it's like, I'm grateful for just all of it, grateful for the journey and grateful for like everything that's still to come.
Yeah. I literally do not know what I would be doing if the bad things didn't happen to me.
Yes, I know.
And it's so hard because I feel like when I'm feeling very like victim-y, I'll like try to be like, oh, well, if this didn't happen, I wouldn't be dealing with this. And then I try to, I know. And then I try to think like, well, how, if these things all didn't happen, like how would I still be here and like have everything I love? And it's like, there's no path that gets me here without the bad thing. So it's like, well, fuck. Okay. I guess I have to be thankful for the bad.
Where you are today is all the things that have happened built you into this person that you are now. And I don't personally want to change that. So it's like, unfortunately, that means a lot of those bad were exactly what I needed. And so I do feel so much gratitude. So that's how I see it. I see a lot of gratitude.
I love that. Thank you so much for being here, Lindsay. I really appreciate it. Please share where people can follow you and then follow the Movement Club and like get involved, get a membership, see this new product.
Yes. So all my personal socials are Lindsay Arnold. And then at the Movement Club, if you want to follow along the Movement Club on channels. And then you can go to movementclub.com to start start a membership. We do have a 7-day free trial, which is super important for me, for people to just be able to come and see what they could be getting, and see what's available to them. But it's so fun. We try to do so much for our members. We do constantly are doing like live pop-up classes across the country. I do a live workout class every single month on the app.
So cool.
So I feel so passionate and love our members so much. So if you are interested and need a good program that you can do anywhere, that is where. And then obviously you can buy the Everything Band as well and do the program alongside it. So yeah.
Yay. So exciting. Thank you
Thanks
for being
for
here.
having me. I love chats like this. Like, this just felt so good and natural. So thank you. You're amazing.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope you leave here feeling motivated and inspired. Do not forget to rate and review the pod on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And don't forget to follow How I See It Pod so you can keep up with podcast updates and see who's coming on next. And if you're not already, come join the fam and follow at How Han Sees It. Thank you guys.